I want to share something very important. A well-known thought leader who happens to be a leadership coach was asked by one of his protege a very striking question that got me thinking. And here was the question: what skill set would always be relevant regardless of the industry you find yourself and the changes happening in our world today? Did you get that? Did you get that? What skill sets will still remain relevant, would always be relevant, regardless of the industry you find yourself and the changes happening in our world today? In my opinion, that's one of the smartest questions any young person could ask in this day and time. One of the smartest questions, because come to think of it, skills are rapidly becoming obsolete. Research has shown that every 12 hours, all the information in the world is doubling. Do you know what that means? That every 12 hours, all the information in the world is doubling. It means if you stay at a level, you run the risk of becoming irrelevant 12 hours later. Now, it might not be apparent 12 hours later, but then you walk into life and you see the resultant effect of staying at a spot and not making active progress. Skill sets that were relevant yesterday have become obsolete and irrelevant today. So that's a very important question that anybody can ask. And if you were to ask me what skill sets I think are future proof, regardless of industry or dispensation, especially with the advent of AI. Here are the two skill sets I will tell you. The first is strategic thinking, and the second is strategic communication. Strategic thinking, strategic communication. Because we have limited time, I'm just going to dwell on strategic thinking. Maybe some other time we would delve into strategic communication. And just as a bonus for this particular section, please listen. If you can improve your communication, you can improve the quality of your life. There are a few persons who see communication as one of the skill sets for financial freedom. And that's because the average human being do not understand the potency of elocution and articulation. They don't understand how potent. They don't even see it as a skill. So what really is strategic thinking? Let's go back to that. Some other time we'll come to strategic communication. What is strategic thinking? It is the generation of insights towards realizing your goals. Please write as much as you can. Strategic thinking is the generation of insights towards realizing your goals. That you have the ability to generate insight. Now, Mr. Chris was talking about vision, right? You have a vision of where you're headed. You have a goal. Strategic thinking is you generating insights on how to actualize that goal. It's a critical thought process for contemplating future possibilities. Just hang in there. You are going to get this just in a bit. I'm starting slowly so that we will get it. Because some of you are already engaging strategic thinking, but you are not making the most of it because you don't know that's what you're engaging. What I want to show you is how conglomerates are built, great businesses, how great ideas become a reality on the earth. Strategic thinking is a skill that cannot be replaced. It's an irreplaceable skill. Someone may say, "Well, no, I don't agree with that, sir. I don't agree with that, sir. Don't you see what AI is doing in our day and time? We don't need strategic thinking when we have AI." Think for a moment. What do you think produced AI? What birthed AI? Strategic thinking. People were in a room, in a boardroom, and they were brainboxing. They were thinking. That's how, because AI did not come out of the air suddenly, right? It's the product of people's strategic thinking. That just tells you that skill is future proof. Oh my God. Are you here? Future proof. I'm telling you, this is how conglomerates are built. And you are not too young to know these things. A strategic thinker is sensitive to change. Pay close attention to my choice of words. They are very intentional. The person is sensitive to change. They are able to catch change while it is still happening on the fringes. What that means is that just when a shift is taking place, a succession is taking place, a transition is taking place, sometimes it is years before that transition happens. Right? A strategic thinker is able to discern it, see it before it happens. And by such, they are able to position for the future, fortify themselves in such a way that whatever they are currently doing is future proof. Are you getting what I'm saying? You know, there are some of you who are studying curses in school right now, with no offense to your profession and whatever. That thing has no future in the Nigeria of tomorrow. That's even too far. The Nigeria of today, that thing that you're studying, has what? You know, I joined one of the breakout sections, the tech breakout section, and our trainer, clap for my trainer, Mr. Henry. He asked us, he said, is there anybody here who is studying, is it OTM they call it? Huh? OTM. What's the full meaning, please? It seems you know it. You don't even know the full meaning. Okay, you are in the class. Okay. I think it has something to do with these people that press typewriter, some things. I don't know all the details about that, right? Yeah. He asked, is there anybody here who is studying OTM? Nobody raised their hands. He said, just in case there's anybody here, please, you will leave this class. So I know some of you are like, whoa, people are still studying that thing in this day and age. Yes. Oh, yes. And that is easy for you to understand that has no future. I'm telling you, that's some of the things that you think have future. They don't have a future. So if you found yourself in that limbo, what do you do? Through strategic thinking. Do you get what I'm saying? You can walk your way into a glorious destiny, into a glorious future. A strategic thinker is like a forward thinker who is always moving with the changes afoot. That what you do becomes future proof. Now, I believe that part of the reasons why companies like Mr. Biggs, how many of you know Mr. Biggs? Growing up, they would take us to Mr. In fact, the Christmas holidays wasn't complete without Mr. Biggs. There's one by the Express over there. It's been on lockdown for years. How that company went into extinction is still a mystery to me till date. How many of you know Nokia? Oh my. How did these companies go into extinction? I believe, this is my personal opinion, they vanished because they lacked strategic thinkers in those companies. Strategic thinkers. Why in the world do you think Apple is this popular? Is on high demand? They have strategic thinkers. People who are ensuring that you are forever obsessed with Apple, with the Apple product. A research was done, in Apple, and they found out that when a human being purchases a new Apple product, like a phone, whatever, that the first few days, this was a psychological research, that the feeling that the people get the first few days on purchasing the Apple product can be likened to the feeling that people get when they are worshiping their God. I'm telling you, you can go check it, you can fact check this. It blew my mind. So that thing that you feel when you're worshiping your Jesus, oh, yeah. They may not do, to the phone, but that's how they feel. So strategic thinkers are in boardrooms ensuring that you feel that way. Ensuring that Apple has no competition. Someone else described strategic thinking as the act of reasoning for a rapid changing world. So strategic thinkers have the discipline of revisiting their worldview on a continual basis. Did you get what I just said? Remember I said a strategic thinker is always moving with the changes afoot, right? Yeah. So that what they do doesn't go into extinction. They don't become obsolete. The skill that they currently have doesn't become obsolete. Do you see what I'm saying? So a strategic thinker is always revisiting his worldview, checking it. This ideology that I hold, can it stand the test of time 5 years from now? Let me tell you the truth. Look up, please. Part of the... I'm looking for the right words so that this doesn't sound offensive. Part of the burden of knowing a lot, I don't know so much, but I know a little, is that sometimes you know why people are facing the challenges they are facing, but you can't tell them because they don't have the spine to handle such level of truth. So some persons walk up to me, maybe because I'm a pastor. Sir, I want God to do this for me. Things are not working well and all that. This is not working and all that. Then I ask questions about what they do. Oh my God, I can tell that with what you are doing, you cannot become a millionaire in the Nigeria of today. There's no prayer point. You can't become a millionaire with that thing. I can't tell you. So you don't tell me to look for a job for you. Do you understand? Because sometimes people want pastors to do the work for their life instead of train you to go do the work for your life. So I just know this thing is not scalable. This thing is not scalable. But I can't tell you. But if I can teach you strategic thinking, you will be able to spot it. Right? Do you see what I'm saying? You'll be able to spot it. Sometimes out of mercy, I just tell you, this thing will not fly. Ministries that stopped growing, many times it wasn't because they weren't praying hard enough in tongues. It's not because they weren't evangelizing and all that. No, sometimes it was just because the decision makers lacked strategic thinking. Because if you think for a ministry like Higher Life, it was just prayer and fasting that brought it here in 2 years. Think again. I'm talking about strategic thinking, and I'm saying a lot of think, right? Another definition of strategic thinking. It is the generation of, I've said that, generation of insight towards realizing goals. Personally, I see strategic thinking as an intangible skill that aids all the other tangible skills. Are you here? Talk to me like you're here. It's an intangible skill that aids all the other skills. And let me say this, it's a non-negotiable for every other skill set. A non-negotiable for every other skill set. For every industry. Can we celebrate our guest, Mr. Joey, Pastor Fred, also known as the Capture King, and Mr. OK Collins. Welcome, man of God. Thank you. Man of God. Sir, you fresh? Welcome. Are we still here? So it's a non-negotiable for every other skill set. For every industry. Every industry needs strategic thinkers. Do you agree? Yeah, every industry. Because if AI comes on the scene and takes the jobs of people and all of that, like I said, strategic thinking is indispensable because that is what produced AI in the first place. Does that make sense? Okay. So it's the intangible skill that aids all the other tangible skills. What do you think is the main skill of consultants, for instance? What is the main skill? Mr. Michael, over the weekend you brought your mentor to come. Was it not consultation he came for? He came to consult for your company. What did you pay him for? You paid him to think for you. Please sit. You paid him to think for you. We have jobs like social media consultation or consulting nowadays. Now, who would have known that these things will be a job? Just the same way, there's this guy now on social media, they call him Speed something. Huh? I show Speed. He says he's a streamer. Think about that for a moment. That 5 years ago, you wake up, you tell your mom and your dad, what do you want to do with your life? I want to be a streamer. Your mom and your dad will most likely kick you out of the house. Is that true? So there was no clear career path. No, there was no example, no reference. That guy is audacious. He has literally carved out a niche that many other youngsters will be inspired. You get what I'm saying? In case they tell their parents, we want to get into this. Say, who have you seen succeed? I should Speed. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. So every industry employs the services of strategic thinkers. They may not call them strategic thinkers, but every industry really does employ the services of strategic thinkers. Every industry. I need you to write this one down. Data and insight is the most valuable commodity on the earth. Data and insight Because that's how strategic thinkers thrive. Data and insight. To be a strategic thinker is to sort of have a drone view, a vintage view of the present, and deep insight into the future. A strategic thinker has a drone view, a vintage view of the present, and deep insight into the future. Many years ago, before there was tech and of course AI like we know it today, the CEO of Rolls-Royce said that the future is a technocracy. That there is no business in the future that will not be driven by technology. He said that years before there was tech and AI as we know it. That's what it means to be a strategic thinker. So that's future projection. Had a drone view of the present, so he was able to seize the present and then deep insight into the future. Personally, part of the reasons why I set structures around the many things that I sit on as leader or whatever is so that I can be effective with this one. Because part of my job is that I'm able to project for the future as touching what I do. So I'm trying to help you see that this thing right there is a skill that you can develop. Are you seeing what I'm saying? You can develop. AI will produce data that informs our decisions. But AI doesn't make decisions for us. Is that true? AI will not make decisions for us. We have to cultivate our strategic thinking skill. For example, everyone knows that AI will soon take your job. AI, is on the lips of everyone, right? Even people who are very ignorant about what AI is. Some people think it's a batcha ingredient. Are you getting what I'm saying? But that thing is on the lips of everybody. AI, AI. So there is a knowing that this is going to happen. But not many persons know what to do with that information. Is that true? Even me, I was in that limbo at some point. I knew that something is coming, but how do I position? Zero. I didn't know. So this is where strategic thinking comes in. A strategic thinker would help people bridge the knowing and the doing gap. Because we know that something is coming. We know we should be doing something about what is coming. What is currently is not coming, is here. It's already happening. But how do you bridge the knowing and the doing gap so that you are future proof? Not many persons. So strategic thinkers will be able to, in some word, they call them futurists. I see people like Kunle Shonreyo. That's a good example of somebody who has made a livelihood of strategic thinking. That's how he feeds. You tell he has raised billionaires. He might not have $1 billion company, but he has raised billionaires. There are many things it's called. It's like merchandising information, merchandising data, being a people builder, all those things. You have to be a strategic thinker to be a people builder. That though you have not built anything from scratch up, like a monument that people can see, yet they are paying you to help them build something. What are they really paying for? Are these things not happening in our world today? They're happening. So how do you develop strategic thinking skill? So I let you go. Now, there are debates in our world today whether people are born with it as a gift. Are they born or are they made? Whichever. It can be both. It can be either or. But the truth is, even if you don't have it as a natural endowment, research has shown that by sheer effort and determination, you can become so good at something that you didn't have as a natural endowment in such a way that outclasses somebody who had it as a natural endowment. Do you even believe that? So hard work surpasses talent 1,000,000,000 times. So I'm not telling you something that has to be a natural endowment. You can develop it. The first is curiosity and open-mindedness. Curiosity and open-mindedness. You improve your ability for more strategic thinking by giving yourself to the discipline of daily continuous learning. Daily continuous learning. I mean, you need exposure, particularly because strategic thinking is fact-based thinking. It thrives on having a lot of data. Do you understand? Being privy to a lot of information. Good stuff anyway, not just anything out there. While our trainer was teaching us yesterday, I don't know why he's not here. He mentioned that there is a tech skill called data analytics. And I think a bit of that involves a lot of strategic thinking. So that is useful in predictions and all that. So you daily arm yourself with data. You know, it was sometime last week while I was away, traveled with my wife. At some point, for like 3 hours, I was fixated consuming documentary materials on politics. And she will come, she will see me, I'm still there. She walk in, she will come. Say, this man, do you want to go into politics? I said, no, I don't want to go into politics, but I need this. I need this. So those with data are the real billionaires. So daily learning increases your neuroplasticity. All right? It increases it. That you're reading good books, watching solid documentaries, listening to solid podcasts. Not the one that tells you a man that cannot take care of you. Those stupid things. Are you getting what I'm saying? Such good stuff make you intellectually dexterous. You become versatile. Maybe I could recommend a few for you. I think every young person should be listening to Myron Golden. He has a podcast. Then the Diary of a CEO. Should also be watching that on YouTube. Then we have Big Think. I could give you a lot, but you still will not listen. So there's no point. As you give yourselves to these things, your intellectual flexibility increases. I've taught time and time again in this church that receiving the Holy Ghost does not shut down the use of your brain. That intelligence is actually a spiritual phenomenon. People think it's just secularism. No, it's actually a spiritual thing to be intelligent. Because when the Holy Ghost collides with somebody who is giving themselves, right, in the natural, in such a way that produces outstanding intelligence, the results that collaboration will produce is it's a lot. So reading would increase the clarity of your mind. You know, there are people who you tell them to communicate a thought. They cannot properly articulate it. They lack elocution. Not because they don't know what to say, but because their mind just lacks clarity to be able to fit words properly in a way that it sounds very intelligent and it can bless people. I told you a while ago that something as simple as public speaking that people look down, if you can speak better, you will earn better. The second, form the habit of asking questions. So I'm trying to show you something that, irrespective of the other skills that you're going to learn, I think you will need this. Strategic thinking. Strategic thinking. You can, by strategic thinking, you can provide solution. You can provide solution, right? You can. You can solve problems. Questions are the currency of the future. Those who ask strategic and intelligent questions will lead the future. Don't ask stupid questions. You know, I think I was listening to a podcast. Was it a podcast now? Apostle Femi Lazarus was speaking. And then he said, don't think you are intelligent when you go about asking questions. Asking a man questions that he has already released the materials that answered that question. You are not smart. You are not smart. And I know some of you, that thing I said, it didn't make much sense to you. But I think for someone like me and where I am, that made a lot of sense. So when I find myself in rooms where big players in different industries or maybe ministry are in, right? You don't just ask any, because they say you should always ask questions. They have to be questions that when he hits the man says, I've asked questions that made a solid man interested in me. Because now he's thinking, a mind that can produce this kind of question should be a smart mind. See, the quality of the questions you are asking reveals the quality of your thinking, reveals the quality of your mind. Do you get what I'm saying? So ask questions, intelligent questions. So to be future ready, we must always be asking ourselves questions. I've said this time and time again that in the mind of geniuses, we find our own neglected thoughts. Let me say that again. In the minds of geniuses, we find our own neglected thoughts. So if I ask somebody who is a genius, who is really good at whatever they do, a question, whilst they are answering that question, I would get inclination into my own neglected thoughts that I didn't even know I had neglected for too long. All I'm trying to say is every human being is really smart. You just don't know it yet. You are a well of possibilities. So sometimes just interacting with great minds does some. That's why personally, there are a few persons that are my age mates that are my friends. I mostly keep friends with older people. It's a personal way of living. Because my mind is very advanced. So sometimes relating with my age mates, they can't relate. Like my communication, the things I'm thinking, where I'm headed, it looks like I'm too ambitious. But I notice if I get into the zone, where not every elderly person, because amen. So you get what I'm saying? But yeah, it's better out there. You just see that, yeah, it fits. Do you get what I'm saying? It fits. So take note of that. What did I say the first is? What's the second? The third, so we let this go. Be borderless in your thinking and in your quest for knowledge. Be borderless in your thinking and in your quest for knowledge. There's a concept, my trainer yesterday even spoke to it. I don't reference this man too much. He will pay me offering. No? He spoke about universality. That for something to be termed really great, it must have a universal appeal. All right? It's a known fact. So an alligator in Nigeria should be an alligator in Canada, yes. So if you can't claim to be a millionaire because you have 2 million. You are not yet a millionaire. Because the moment it crosses into another currency, it loses its... You get what I'm saying? So until it is worth at least 1 million, right, in a currency that has universal appeal, you are not yet a millionaire. So are they millionaires here? Wait, incoming. No pressure on me. Naira I do, I no keep person. Research like somebody who's gone in for global relevance. Personally, I don't listen to podcasts that doesn't have global relevance. I'm not forcing it on you. It's just the way me I live. Because these things just expose my mind on a global scale. Yes, I'm in a place in Delta they call Agbo. Do you get what I'm saying? But my thinking is way, way beyond there. And that's one reason why I do a lot of traveling. I don't travel because I have a lot of money to throw around. I travel more than I post. And it's very deliberate. So my helper will not think I've made it in my life. So that they will still be helping me. I do these things for the sake of exposure. That's one reason why I do it. Because you can be trapped in a location and your thinking becomes fine-tuned by the environment. It's very real, I'm telling you. Listen to music with that lens. Watch movies with that lens. I'm saying let every part of your human engagement be instrumental in improving your strategic thinking skill. So I watch movies with that lens. I don't watch stupid movies. I watch very intelligent movies. Because I don't watch it for fun alone or entertainment. I watch it for education. Then I listen to music also with that lens. It was Steph Ade that was saying I think it was last week, the global music director of CCI. Laugh won't finish me. That why is it that when a music that was done abroad, that was mixed abroad, the difference is always distinct from a music that was mixed in Nigeria. Even if it's mixed by the best of hands here that acquired knowledge abroad. Then he said, is it the mixer? Because he used the new release of Don't Sing Ereka as a case study. That song he did with John Wilde. The mixing is crazy. Some of you will not even know what we're saying. You might not even understand what we're saying. But you just hear it, you just know. Now white guy do this one. Now white guy do this one. So there are even some Nigerian music that is anointed, highly anointed, but I might not listen to. It's a personal preference. And I think when we begin to bring up conversations like this, then every one of us will begin to sit up, even in Nigeria, as pertaining to excellence. Me, I'm not doing so well with the excellence team. Do you get what I'm saying? Based on what I'm producing, I'm not yet there. But I'm saying this is just how I move, so that. Do you get the idea? Yes. Please, just take note of that. Read books with that lens. I can analyze your strategic thinking strength when I check your search history on Google, your search history on YouTube, all these platforms. So from some ladies, their search history on YouTube is, say it, those 3 hours movies. Nollywood. Is it Nollywood now? Be Nollywood. Now listen, no offense. If you actually enjoy movies like that, beautiful. Have a nice time. All right. No, I mean it from my heart. I mean it. That's someone else's craft. And I mean, yeah. But I'm just saying. Okay. Number 4. So you go. To improve your strategic thinking skill, this is the last one. Write more when you are reading. Write more when you are reading a book, listening to a podcast, or watching a documentary. Write more when you are reading a book, listening to a podcast, or watching a documentary. Write down your observation. First of all, I hope you know that writing has a psychological effect on the writer. People don't know that. It's very powerful. I was telling Mr. Micah, the pad is there. I know if you use it because I like to write. Amen. And I should just tell you why. Writing is called a psychoneuromotor activity. And it helps your thought process. And many of you know that, right? Have you ever had a simple idea and you just pick your note and your pen? The more you wrote, the more it poured out. Yeah, that's it right there. You get it. You get it. Insight flows faster when you write. I'm telling you, it's a psychoneuromotor activity. And it's been proven psychologically that writing down your goals, your resolutions, increases the probability of success by 10 times. Increases the probability of success by 10 times. So when you write down a goal, a thought, an idea, it is impressed into your subconscious mind. It is loaded there and it eventually flows out as spontaneous thoughts when you need it. Do you get it? They will begin to flow out when you eventually need to communicate or think strategically. These things have been imprinted in your subconscious mind. That's one of the ways to develop the act of ready speech. Have you ever wondered how some celebrities, big names in different industries, you just call them on the spot, meet them randomly. Sir, what do you have to say about this? And he just holds the mic. Back. See, he's not saying, you're like, bro, did you rehearse it? It's called the act of ready speech. I learned something from Myron Golden, and I think you should write this one down. Please, listen. He said, when you're reading a book or listening to a video, don't only write down what the person is saying. Write down what you thought of as a result of what the person said. Some of you understand what this is. That's one way to awaken your creative genius. That don't just write what you heard the person say. Because the next level of any idea is in that very idea. Remember what I said a while ago? That in the minds of geniuses, we find our own neglected thoughts, right? So, I can say something, but your mind heard something broader. Don't only stay with what you heard me say. Write those other things that awakened in your mind when you heard me say what I said. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's one way to be a creative. That's a simple hack. That's a simple hack. So, I say it every time in person. Some of you don't listen. Sometimes when I'm listening to a message by my mentor, Apostle Emmanuel Aaron, right? I can listen to a sermon that is 1 hour, 30 minutes. I can listen to that sermon for 4 hours. And like, but it's just 1 hour, 30 minutes. I say, that's it. Because I do a lot of pausing. He makes this statement, I pause it, and then for the next 20 minutes, I'm writing. What am I writing? What I heard as a result of what he said. So that flow, that just, popped up. I just begin to write. Those are some of the ideas and contents that when I eventually preach, that really make the impact. Because sometimes when you just pick someone else's material, his quotable quote, and say it word for word as they said it, it will not have the same impact it had when you heard it on the people when you are saying it to them. Because he's speaking from quickened words. He's speaking by the inspiration of the Spirit in that moment. So while you were hearing his own quickened word, your own quickened word will open. Write it down. Go and say that one. It's that one that will have power on your people. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to, how do they say it now? Convince and not confuse you that strategic thinking is an irreplaceable, indispensable skill. Thank you.